and welcome to my first writing vlog. Lately, I've been not writing, and I want to change that. Truthfully, I've had a lot going on in my personal life, and I haven't had the time. At the same time, though, I've been very inspired the past few weeks, but for some reason cannot seem to write anything. A few days ago, I tried to write something. I outlined a few things, I made some notes of some updates I want to make, and then I stared at my document and wrote nothing. That's how it goes usually. The writer's block almost felt physically painful, like an actual blockage in my brain. So I gave up and decided I needed a new approach. I want to start making writing a habit. The problem is I have no time. I've been finding it hard to fit in writing, reading more, and creating YouTube content into my 40-hour work week. I will be waking up 2 hours before I have to work with the main goal of writing. I work from home, so I won't have to account for time to leave or get ready. So I should be able to spend most of that 2 hours just writing. Okay, so first day is done. I'm not gonna lie, it was a little hard to wake up at 5 a.m. But something I did realize was that this sort of helped me wake up. Like, I thought it would have the opposite effect. I thought it would slow me down. I thought I would be more tired once I started work, but it actually felt the opposite. I felt because I had more time to wake up before actually clocking into work, somehow I was more energized. I think I'm gonna try to write some more. I might journal a bit or read some more because I kind of like to get in that mindset. It's really hard for me to just start writing. I've found that I need to sort of put myself in the right headspace to write. So if I go somewhere to write, like a coffee shop or something, that sort of tells my brain like it's time to write. When I'm writing at home, I find it difficult to just jump into writing unless I'm like really inspired. And I often get inspired when I'm journaling or when I'm reading or listening to music. So I will try to do those things before writing. So to update on sort of the progress I made this morning, I did not write as much as I wanted to. I got a few paragraphs in. I don't know how many words. It had been a few weeks since I had actually looked at my book, and I reread some stuff and I hated it, as most writers do when they reread their stuff sometimes. There was some good stuff there, don't get me wrong, but I realized a lot of it was just me writing things that I wouldn't want to read as a reader. The goals for this week are to write more, to start a habit of writing, and those things are the most important goals, but also I want to start to write more honestly. Rereading my stuff, I think I might have a tendency to start writing what I think other people might like, even though it's not something that I like. And I don't want to write that way. So I want to write more honestly. I want to respect my particular art style. I want to find a voice for the character. This is a very personal story. It's not nonfiction. It's not autobiographical, but it relates to me in a way. So it's fine if the character sounds sort of like me, but I don't want her to be me, if that makes sense. Okay, today's progress was good. It wasn't better than yesterday, but it wasn't worse than yesterday. I probably did about the same amount of words. Where my book is currently sitting is at about 17,000 words. I can't remember if I talked about it yesterday, but I'm kind of in the state where I don't really like what I've written, so I'm kind of rewriting some things right now. I know it's not the best idea to stop midway and then sort of rewrite things, but it's just what I'm feeling like I want to do right now, so I don't want to stop like the ideas coming. So from yesterday's progress and today, I think a little over 2,000 words. So better than I thought I was gonna do. And again, that doesn't sound like a lot of words, but I'm proud of myself. In a turn of events, I am not working tomorrow or the next day. I've shifted my schedule around. I might take the opportunity to go somewhere and write. I think I'm still going to try and wake up at 5 a.m. because that was sort of the point of this video, just to see if I can get some words down. I am really proud of myself. So I still woke up at 5 a.m. even though I am not working today, but I didn't get anything done. I didn't get any writing done. I think because I'm going to spend the most of the day writing, I can forgive myself for not writing in the morning. I decided to go to a library instead of a coffee shop because I wanted to try to not spend money. But most likely I will end up at some sort of cafe. After I finished my coffee, I decided to walk over to the library. I thought I could get some writing done there, but unfortunately it was pretty busy. It's a small library and all of the tables were taken already. I remembered that I hadn't signed up for a library card since I moved here, so I found a book and I applied for a card. The book I chose was a collection of poems by Mary Oliver. I've been wanting to read Mary Oliver's poetry for a while, and now I understand the hype. There's a little lawn next to the library here, and I found the perfect spot under a tree to read. It had been so long since I'd actually left my apartment to read or write, and I think when I found this spot, I felt like I had found treasure. When I left later, I was just thinking about how I wanted to spend every day under a tree with a good book. The poetry was so good that I finished the collection and went back to the library. Luckily, there were tables this time, so I was able to write some more as well. Before I left, I browsed the shelves one more time to take something home with me. I had another day off, and while I didn't wake up at 5 a.m. this day like I did the other days, I still got a lot of writing done, surprisingly. I grabbed some breakfast and went back to my secret spot that I had found the day before, and I read some more poetry. I only had a couple of free hours that day, so I wanted to make sure I got some writing done. I went back to the library, and I actually finished the rewrite of my first chapter. Yay! I ended with over 3,000 words that day after a lot of cutting and adding and rewriting. Unfortunately, I broke my writing flow a bit. That day was another day off, and I didn't write anything. But I had 2 days left, and I was still determined to wake up before work to get some writing done on those days. The next day, my 5 a.m. routine continued, and it was difficult. I found the beginning of the week surprisingly easy, but I was honestly struggling to stay focused towards the end of the week. I think when I finished the rewrite of my first chapter, it was like I was coming down from a high, and suddenly I wasn't sure how to proceed. I didn't get that much done, again, but I still wrote something, so I guess that's something. Day 7 was very similar to day 6. I didn't get a lot done. I was still struggling to figure out how to continue. I wasn't sure if I wanted to just continue rewriting the chapters that I'd already written, or if I wanted to just keep going from where I'd left off. I think before I'd written 6 chapters, so I wasn't sure if I wanted to just start with chapter 7 and keep going, or keep going from the end of my rewrite of chapter 1. So I was kind of drawing a blank. I hit some writer's block, and honestly, it was a little difficult to not feel like I was suddenly failing, even though this was the last day of my experiment. I felt like maybe it was all for nothing if I couldn't continue on, but I tried not to beat myself up about it too much. I did it. I finished the week. Do you have something to say, Suki? She has a lot to say, actually. So I think I've come to the conclusion that this does work. Sort of. Obviously, on my days off, I did more writing than I did on the days that I woke up at 5 a.m. But I still think that it was important that I got some writing done. Before this week, I would write a bit on my days off. But this week, I wrote something every single day. But overall, I do think that this was a success because writing a bit more, even if it's just a little bit more, is better than what I was doing before this, which was barely writing at all. I think I would still like to keep waking up early to write before work, to do a hobby or something that relaxes you before work can be really rewarding. I also learned that I think it's important to get out more to do writing. I know that's not everybody's thing, but I think for me personally, I just write so much better when I'm not at home, when I can actually leave the house and people watch. So yeah, maybe not as much progress as I had hoped for, but at the same time, I do think that this was a more realistic outcome for me. Working 40 hours a week and trying to fit in any other sort of hobby is incredibly difficult, and I have to just always remind myself that I can't do it all the time. It's the little victories, right? I consider this week a little victory. Actually, I'm going to consider it a big victory because it feels big to me. I feel good about the work I was able to get done this week. I'm not going to beat myself up about not doing as much as I wanted to. So I'm going to revel in any victory. I hope I can do more videos like this. Please feel free to subscribe. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one.